Well, not too long ago, the world was introduced to one of the smoothest cats to ever hit the track. During the 1984 Olympic Games in Los Angeles, Carl Lewis, the star, was born, winning gold in the 100-meter, 200-meter, and the long jump, also the 4x100-meter relay. And that was just the tip of the iceberg in the beginning. Check the numbers in history for yourself. Nicknamed the Son of Win. Yes, I looked it up. That's his name. Hands down, one of the most decorated athletes of all time, having won 10 Olympic medals, including 9 gold and 10 world championship medals, including 8 there. His athletic career spanning from 1979 and 1996. And I say all that because he is sharing a little history with us later tonight. A documentary called The Triumph Jesse Owens and the Berlin Olympics. And I say all that because it's airing tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And the man himself, Carl Lewis, joining us here on HQ for more on this. And first of all, appreciate you. We don't get too many Olympians on the show, so it's great to see you in person here. But this is a big day because it's Juneteenth and you're releasing this documentary. I know this is important to you. I'm curious about the role you played in this and what can we see from this project later tonight?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. It's an exciting project for me because Jesse Owens had such a huge impact in my life, but also in sports, period. We often talk about Jesse Owens in the sense of Hitler and going over there and killing the Aryan race ideas. But from an African-American perspective, he was a hero. In those days, we were under all these different types of things, challenges we had, Jim Crow, and he was someone that we could really look up to in that era. So for me personally, I remember competing in the Jesse Owens Arco Games way back in the early 70s, and just to be able to meet him, to know his story, just changed my life.
I'm curious because in 1984, you were able to match that 4 goal, what he did in 36. Was that a goal for you? And take me through those moments in LA when that happened.
Well, it was absolutely a goal. It was something, when I met Jesse Owens, I was about 13, and I just stood there in awe of this guy that my father talked about at the dinner table for so many years. And then going into 1984, I wanted to do something that I never thought I could do. And obviously, even making the Olympic team was a dream. But when I started working on those 4, it was a methodical thing. It took 3 years. And the most difficult part about it, Jesse had passed on, so had his coach. So we had no one to ask how to do it. So it was all on us trying to figure out how do you get these 4, and just to get it there with Mrs. Owens, who didn't have a chance to see Jesse compete in Germany, was at least able to see what it looks like to get 4 gold medals.
I'm curious, you say you had a chance to meet him at 13. What was he like as a person for those of us that didn't have a chance to have that impact with him? What was he like for you?
Well, I'll tell you something. I went to a competition, and they had like a speech that later on that night. First of all, he had such an amazing voice, and he told a speech about Hitler and Germany, and he was such a dynamic speaker. I felt like he was talking to me only, and it was transformative because not only did it teach me about sports and what he did in Germany, but it also piqued my interest in history as a whole. So I love history, especially World War II, all the way through now, African-American history, and that happened because of Jesse Owens.
Yeah, an icon for you and many of us still to this day in 2024. And I want to talk about some of your accolades. And I'm curious, what is your favorite Olympic moment? Because you have quite a few. The 4 golds I mentioned in 1984, that final jump in 1996, or maybe the 4 straight in the event. Which one is your favorite?
Well, I have to say kind of a tie, but a little bit. The first gold medal was incredible because you can't win 4 if you don't win 1. But the moment was after 96. And when they announced that I'd won it, and it's just incredible. The whole stadium stood up and took a victory lap. That, to me, was the most special moment. And I knew that I'd never go back to the Olympics again. And to win that medal at 35 was definitely the most special moment that I experienced.
Of course, we're getting close to those Paris Games in 2024 here, just a month away. You have some names like Noah Lyles, Sha'Carri Richardson, some of the household names. Is there one out there that maybe you paid a little bit more attention to that we should know as fans watching next month?
Well, as you know, I always default to the United States team. So you picked a couple of really good ones. But as a coach in Houston, I have a couple of young guys, one from South Africa, Sean Maswanganyi, and like a new sprinter that we came from Great Britain named Louis Hinchliffe. So, of course, I'm rooting for them as well. But I think when it looks at it, I think the United States is going to go back and sweep. The big thing is that I hope we can get it together and win the relay because I think we'll win all 3 sprints if we can win those relays.
I need to touch on that, too. You're coaching now, and I'm curious because, how has that dynamic changed? Because coming from the star athlete to now trying to wrangle these kids up in Houston, how has that changed for you?
Well, I'll tell you something. You got it right. Wrangle those kids up. I deal with about 90, 18 to 23-year-olds, and anyone that's a parent kind of understands what that's like. But I try not to compare myself to it. I use my background to teach them, but I don't compare them to what I did. I just teach them just like my coach taught me. And I look at myself as a teacher as opposed to a coach, so I can mentor them at every single level and use all of my experience, not just as a coach, but also as a person who understands the media, who's been to the Olympics. And I just hope that I can mentor them and do it. One thing I'm really excited about is that all of my sprinters that I've been with the team, they stayed all 4 years and they've all got their degrees. So that's what you go to college for, and I'm excited about that.
Love to hear that. And before I let you go, I have to ask, a 1984 Carl Lewis, how would he fare in the field in 2024 in Paris?
You know, it's funny. I'm often asked that, and I answer it this way. I would not have wanted to compete against Jesse Owens, and I don't think they would want to compete against me.
Ooh. You know what? On that note, I love it and appreciate your time. Again, we can't wait to see the doc tonight with Jesse Owens, one of your icons. Again, Triumph, Jesse Owens, and the Berlin Olympics airing tonight at 8 Eastern. Carl Lewis, this is his project, has put his blood, sweat, and tears in this. You must watch it, of course, the closer we get to the Olympics.